Hi guys, let us quickly discuss in this video how do we create a custom image in Azure. My name is Vijay Kumar Vimla. I'm a Citrix and Azure trainer and architect. Before we actually discuss how do we create a custom image in Azure, let us see what exactly a custom image is. Now, let us say you are into a VMware or Hyper-V environment, then you got to kind of go and deploy, let us say, 50 web servers. And how do you do that? You install OS and then deploy web server on each one of them, which means that you will be installing OS 50 times and installing web services 50 times. So which is a tedious task, right? So for that, you got a solution called as deploy one server, install web services on that, and then convert that into template and use that template to deploy the required number of what do you call it as VMs. Now the custom image will give you the same solution. Now the purpose of custom image is rather you deploying multiple times operating system and then OS on top of and I'm sorry application on top of it. You create a standard OS and then you deploy an application on that, convert that into an image. So that's how and use that image to kind of deploy the required number of servers. Right, so it's a standard. The standard steps here include first step would be let us say you are creating a web server custom image. Let us say so you have a requirement of web server custom image. Let us say that Windows web server maybe. Yeah, Windows 2012 web server image. Now, to attain the custom image for this Windows server, what you do is first step would be install operating system, and then maybe if you have to install some patches or something, then you will be doing that. Then the next step I will say that install latest updates. And I think most of the times your Azure image, I think, will be the latest one with all the latest updates. So I don't think this step is anyway needed, but you need to just validate it. And then if you have any hardening requirement, you can go and do the hardening or any other configuration at OS level that we will be doing it. And then of course you go and install your web services. Then you install what? Web services. Here it is IIS. Then once you install the web services, then the actual kind of again, if you have any hardening requirement IIS level, you can do it. Then your next step will follow is you go and run a sysprep, right? So this is what you will be doing, run a sysprep. Now sysprep is nothing but system preparation, right? System preparation. Now what system preparation does is it basically removes those unique identifiers and some drivers or whatever those the unique identifiers and drivers you got on your system, those will be deployed, and this is required to make sure that there are no conflicts and you are not carrying those the items that which are specific to a VM to the other VM. To avoid the conflict, you need to do sysprep, right? That is system preparation. Now once you do a system preparation, then you, of course, this is a system preparation with generalization, right? So that is another important with. So you do a sysprep with generalization. And then you, once you do it, the generalization with sysprep or sysprep with generalization, whatever you call it as, then you shut down the server. Now, once you shut down the server, then you have an option within the Azure console where you will go and what you call it as capture it as an image. Capture VM as image, right? Capture VM as image. So once you capture the current VM as an image, then you have an image readily available. Then you can go and use this image to deploy your operating systems of the number of operating system whatever you have a requirement of. Let us quickly get into the portal and let me show you how do you do that. Okay, so I am here on my Azure portal and you see I got a VM with a name called as my VM, which is a Windows 2012 OS. Then I'll quickly connect to this. Now let us assume that you got this OS with the latest version of operating system updates, and then you also hardened this and all those OS level configuration, whatever is needed, you had already done. So what I do is I'll quickly go and install web services on this box. Okay, so let me get into the PowerShell as an administrator. Right, and saying run as an administrator, I'll do a command called install Windows future, and I'll say that web server. So you are basically installing a web server on this machine. You can see this installation of web server, or IIS installation on this box is done. Now, let us say that you also completed your what do you call it as hardening of your web server, whatever is needed. Now, the next step would be go and run sysprep, right? So for that, you just go to your start and then pick the run option, and then I'll say that sysprep, and it will take you to the directory where you have this sysprep application, right? So all you need to do is just launch this sysprep application, and then you go with the out of box experience, and then you generalize it, and once the sysprep generalization is done, the action you want to take is to shut down this box, right? So let me quickly say okay, and then you can see it has initiated all that cleanup process, that whatever is needed as a part of the sysprep or system preparation. Now, once the system preparation is done, what it does is it goes and shut down this machine. So you can see the activity is still going on. In a couple of maybe in few seconds, you will see this machine getting shut down. So without sysprep, you definitely have to run a sysprep with generalization. Otherwise, your image will not work. Right? I'll show you. Microsoft clearly says that you need to do a system preparation before you actually create an image of it. Right? So now you see that this machine is off. Let me go to my portal and see if I refresh it. It should change the status to stopped. I'm just waiting for that to get itself updated. Okay, so now you can see the status of this VM is changed to stopped. Now you're done with all these steps of right from installation of OS or provisioning of your VM. You can say it here, rather install OS. I can say that provisioning of VM to the system preparation. Now you need to capture this VM as an image. So in order to capture a VM as an image, you have this capture option here, which you will be using. Right, let me select that option of capture. Now what is the image name that which you want to give? And before that, like you can see it, before creating an image, your sysprep should be done, right? So otherwise your OS will not work. That's what I was saying. I'll say that Windows2k12 Web Server. So this is the image name. It will be in a resource group for logical categorization. And this option will help you if you want to delete the virtual machine once the image is created, then you can go and select this option. Or if you want to retain the VM after the image is created, just deselect this option. Right? So I want to delete that. And then if you want to go with zone resiliency, you can select this. And just to make sure that you are using a right VM, then you have to give a VM name here. Now another important warning message, capturing a virtual machine image will make the virtual machine unusable, which means that now when you use a VM and capture the VM as an image, and you will not be able to power on that machine and use it for any purpose. Of course, you can create one more image out of it, but you will not be able to power on and make any changes or use that for any other purpose. So that's what it means. So let me go ahead and create image. Now it is doing a validation. It has got three steps. You can see it. First step is it is stopping the VM. It is a stop deallocation. That's what it is doing. So in the second step, it has generalized, and third step it is creating the image. And then in the fourth step, because you selected the deletion of the VM, it is deleting the virtual machine. Right, you can see the image creation process is successful. Right, stop the VM, generalize it, create the image, and then of course delete the virtual machine. Now, if I go back to the virtual machines, in some time this machine should be taken off. But how do I find the images that what I just created or image I just created? So you have this service called as images. I'll go to this image services, then you can see your web server image. Now I can go to this image itself and create a VM from here and deploy a VM. And or you can also go to this virtual machines option, add virtual machine, and then select your private images. You see your image here. You can select that image and then you can say that web server 1. I'm creating a web server from that. The username, password, and then I'll leave rest of the stuff as default, and then I'll go and create a web server machine. Right, this initiation of web server VM creation is done. So now you can see the web server is up and running. So which means that using the image, we deployed a web server 1. Let us quickly connect to that. So 40 dot, okay, so 40, yeah, 40.77.21.237. Now let me get into it. And when you go and look at, then this machine should have IS pre-installed, right? So um, that's how you can go and validate your um, whether the OS whatever is deployed is from the image that what you created or not. Here I am on to this machine, and I opened Internet Explorer. If I go and see localhost, then it should launch my web server or web services rather, right? So this machine has got what you call it as IS pre-installed. So that's how you can create a image and then use that image to deploy OS. Now this image, that whatever you created, right? If I go to the images, and the image that what you create has got this boundary of the region, which means that if this image is in central US, and whichever the location your VM was, the same location your image will be, right? So because your VM that which you used to create this image was in central US, and this image is also in central US, but this image is not visible across different regions, right? So it is visible only in central US. When you deploy resources in central US, then only you will be able to see this image. Now, in order to kind of replicate this across different regions, or in order to kind of make sure that you have this image available to other region folks, then you need to go and replicate this to other regions, right? So that's where this solution called as shared image galleries is coming into picture, right? So shared image galleries will help you to kind of organize and then replicate the images across multiple regions. So what we do is we'll pick this in another video, and then I'll help you to understand what shared image galleries are, and then how does they help us to replicate the images across different regions. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining, and I wish you have a great day ahead, and feel free to subscribe the channel. Thank you.